Welcome back to Hear My Melody. Today we are going to take a deep dive into the EQUINOX scale of the steel tongue drum. But first, you are looking fantastic. Here's the intro. As you may already know, in this YouTube series here on YouTube, I am taking all the different aspects of the steel tongue drum and showcasing them for you guys. The amount of videos in this video series are growing constantly, and I am speaking a lot about models, designs, scales, recording techniques, microphones and different playing styles. I am mixing this up with my regular content where I try to make fun and interesting music videos for you all. Often with somewhat unusual instruments in mind. As usual, we will be dividing this video into 5 different parts. The first part is an intro to the scale so you can get a feel for it. After that, we will take a deep dive into the intricacies of the scale and continuing on with the basic chords for this particular scale. After that, I will, as usual, play a specific rhythm style that you can use with my other videos, so you can compare the different aspects of this particular scale. And finally, in the end, you will get my personal thoughts and tips and tricks regarding this scale. Let's move on to the scale presentation. So let's take a closer look at the EQUINOX scale in G major. It consists of the following notes: G, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, B, and D. This is almost a regular scale in G major, but we are missing the second note of the scale, the A, to complete it. This is one of the characteristics of the scale. We should also note that although we don't have a middle note present on this drum, we still have 9 notes just as we would have on a regular drum with the middle notes. This is a great feature, I think, especially if you're playing a double-sided tongue drum. Also note that we are skipping the C in the higher end of the scale and instead end the scale on the note of D. I will now let you listen to the scale and also showcase how you play it up and down the drum. Just sit back and listen. If we check this out on the piano, we can see the following. We start with the primary note of G, and then go up a major third to B. Following that, we go from B to C, a minor second. The names I'm now using is called intervals. It is the distance between different notes in the scale. If you'd like to know more about this, just leave a comment down below and I'll try to make a video of that soon enough. Let's continue. From C to D, a major second. Then from D to E, a major second again. Let's continue that from E to F sharp, a major second. Then from F sharp to G, a minor second. We keep on from G to B, a major third, and then from B to D, a minor third. As usual, all the notes on each side should sound very good together. Let me demonstrate. If we look at the right side, we can see that we have a G, a C, an E, a G, and a D. The intervals here are a perfect fourth, a major third, a minor third, and a perfect fifth. Let's listen to the drum, how these sound together. And on the piano. As you can hear, they sound very good together, and you can feel that it is a major scale and not a minor scale, because it sounds very happy. Let's look at the left side of the drum. Here we have a G, B, a D, an F sharp, a B. Translated into music theory, we can see that it is a major third, a minor third, a major third, a perfect fourth. Let's listen to this side as well. And on the piano. As you can hear for yourself, this also sounds very good. Let's go on to the basic chords of this scale. We will start with the obvious chord for the G major scale, namely the chord of G. In the G chord, we will have the notes of G, B, and D. We can play it in the lower octave or in the higher octave. We can also flip the tones around. You don't have to play it in any specific order, just take these three notes, G, B, and D, and you will have the chord of G. We will continue on with the E minor chord. In a bit heavier music theory, we would say that the E minor chord and the chord of G are related to each other. We can go into this in more depth in another video. To play the E minor chord, we will have to play the notes of E, G, and B. We can also color this chord and add the D. We will then have the E minor 7, the small 7. You can always find the small 7 to a chord 2 steps behind the primary note in the chord on a piano. For example, in this case we have the primary note of E, and 2 steps back we have the D. This is called to color the chords. Let's move on to the B minor. We will then have to play the B, the D, and the F sharp. We can also flip the notes around a bit, but we'll still have the B minor. Check this out. Let's move on to the C. We have the C, the E, and the G. We can play around with the notes a bit, like this. We would like to have the opportunity to play the D chord in this scale, but we can't because we are missing an important note, the dominant note of the scale, namely the note of A. But we can get the feeling of a D chord by cheating a bit. We can skip the A and instead play a D. In this way, D, F sharp and D. It's not a complete D major chord, but we can get the feeling of a D. Listen. I would also like to add that you can, in this scale, add some major 7s to some of the chords I just mentioned. For example, we can add the major 7 to the G and then make it a G major 7. We still play the G, the B and the D, but we add the F sharp and therefore get the G major 7. In Swedish we call this ғᴏʟʟᴡ. And major of course stands for a big 7. So on the piano you can find the big 7 or the major 7 to a chord 1/2 step behind the primary note of the chord. Let's check this out. We have the G and 1 step behind we have the F sharp. Then adding the 2 other notes and we have the G major 7. We can do the same with the C and make it a C major 7. Which note would you add to the chord to get the C major 7? Yeah, that's right, the B. Let's listen to it. Great, let's move on to the final part of this video, my personal and final thoughts regarding this scale. The EQUINOX scale is a very versatile scale with a lot of chord options. More than many of the other scales that I have spoken of in this series, but they too have their advantages, of course. If you mainly want to create happy feelings and harmony that rings of peace, you should consider buying this type of scale. It is well suited for example yoga or meditation sessions. I myself has practiced meditation for several years and I think it is very well suited for this. I also practice Qigong, to be more exact Longdang Qigong, and I think that a playing session on this scale before starting the Qigong practice gives me that harmony and that feeling of peace that I seek before I start my practice. My Gouda Double 2.0. On the top of the drum I have the TRANCE scale that I have deep dived in another video. But if you flip that around, I have the EQUINOX scale that works very well together with the TRANCE scale if you're considering buying a double steel tongue drum. Please feel free to check out my many other playing and deep dive videos regarding the steel tongue drum to make sure you find the right scale for you. So, I hope that gave you a lot of value and that you feel that you know this scale a little better now. And as usual, if you don't want to miss anything, please subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a great deal. And don't forget to ring that little bell that's hiding away somewhere down here on the screen. And as always, if you have any questions regarding the steel tongue drum or this particular scale, please leave a comment down below and I will be getting back to you shortly. I promise. I read all of the comments. So, that was all for this time. I bid you farewell and, as usual, hej då!